Hello, you beautiful ones. I've just been asleep for the last 2 hours and I've just woken up. Somebody called me. And what's come to mind tonight is something I've discussed about at university. I'll give a presentation about it. And it was about, it was called subliminal conditioning. And what it means is, if you don't know, it's how companies, especially world famous companies, use this technique to make people buy their product. and I did a bit of research and found out in the 1980s a certain soft drinks company used to flash images on the picture when people went to the theatre, the movie theatre. They would be watching the movie, and while the movie was going on, the images of this brand would be flashing like that, non-stop, but you couldn't see it with your physical eye. But what it was doing was, it was going into your subconscious mind, somewhere in there, wherever that is, and it was making you thirsty. So the idea of it was that people would start to feel thirsty even if they weren't, because of these images. And so as soon as the break come, the interlude, I don't know if you have them in America, they call it the interlude, where there would be a little break, or at the end of the movie, the people would then go and rush off to the foods counter in the theatre and buy their product. And this is true, by the way. It was actually, this form of advertising was banned by the British government in the 1980s. I don't know the exact date, but if you go and look for it yourself, you'll find out. Yeah, and it was actually banned, and this got me thinking about subliminal conditioning by false teachers, which has gone on, which has affected our psychology to understand all things. And I think there might be something in this. I'm only speaking off the top of my head, so if I'm going wrong anywhere, put me right. And I think what's happened is, because of these great teachers have been creating their own counterfeit kingdoms. Whether it was by genuine error or the desire to get the money, I don't know. I'm not making that judgment. But what I'm sharing with you is the subliminal conditioning of false teachings, which has gone on since we're little kids. So all we've heard since we're little kids is doom and gloom, and the wrath of God, basically. And so we have an unholy fear of God, of the God of love, and so we grow up confused about who God is. Is he God of love or is he God of wrath? And many have tried to explain it away as that, he will love you if you do this, he will love you if you do that, and if you do wrong, you're out, basically. That's just puts it in basic terms of how our psychology has been conditioned to thinking about our Creator, and it's all a pack of lies. Because during our years of digging, knocking, seeking and asking, we discover that our Creator of heaven and earth is love. Not only is he God, not only is a God of love, he in fact is love. And so by the greatest act of love ever witnessed by mankind, with the sacrifice of his only Son, where he poured his wrath upon his own Son for our sake. And so, in doing that, he dealt with the issue of the devil, he dealt with the issue of sin, he dealt with the issue of death, once and for all time. But we've never seen it, we've never perceived it in our psychology, in our hearts, in our spirit, because we've been led a merry dance, basically, by many people who didn't know anything themselves. They didn't know. They picked up, they were seekers, just like all of us. They've probably been seekers of the knowledge of good and evil. Let me find you the knowledge of good and evil. Oh, here it is. Here it is. There's the knowledge of good and evil. Now, because we've been seeking that knowledge of good and evil at some moment of our lives, we've become sin conscious. And we're sin conscious because we've come to understand all things, good and evil. And so, this is why we keep sinning, because we are sin conscious. We only become sin conscious when we start seeking the knowledge of good and evil. And so, the subliminal conditioning of our minds that has been put upon us is that the God of wrath is going to destroy you with fire, hailstone, and all of that kind of thing. And so we grow up in fear, which stopped us from getting to know, from entering in to the oneness with our Creator. But it was always his desire to become one with his creation. And this is what I've come to understand at the moment. Subliminal conditioning by false teachers. Now this isn't to cast stones at them. This is a discussion on the errors of which they have put forward, knowingly or unknowingly, I don't know. Only us can find out ourselves. And many of us have been through the church system looking for Christ in the church system. Again, we weren't aware that God doesn't dwell in man-made temples. So we had that desire growing up to be justified. We try to justify ourselves by going to church every Sunday and pretending that we're righteous by putting the suit on, the shave, and nicely brushed hair. Yeah. But we discovered also that is false as well. Can you see how all things are being made known? So by us seeking knowledge of good and evil, we became sin conscious, and so this is why we keep on sinning. Even when we're in Christ, we'll still sin, we'll still err. But what we've also come to understand is that by the shed blood of Christ, there is no more sin or death or devil. This is what I've come to understand. What exists is the psychology that's being put in us by man, by others. And so we were unable to walk in the fullness of the union with Christ, each one of us. And this is what he is breaking us free from, himself. And we've also come to learn from the book of knowledge of good and evil is that the creator of heaven and earth will teach each one of you himself, and you will have no need of anyone to teach you anything. You will know all, let me get my fingers right, all things. So when Christ said it is done, it is finished, that means it is finished for all time, every generation after him. So we've also come to understand, through setting ourselves free from the psychology placed upon us by man, is that the kingdom is here and always has been here, and Christ rules over the earth. Now, most of them things I've just told you, your immediate reaction will be, he's of the devil! Well, not all of you, but some of you religious types will be given at that. He's of the devil, he's of the devil, he's no brother of mine. Be gone, get out of here. But truly I tell you today, that is what I've come to understand. And when I get the confirmation of it from the scriptures in Hebrews about the blood of Christ, read it for yourself. And he has made you perfect. You are seated in the heavenly places. It's already done. It's already finished. Your hope of glory, Christ in you. The realization. So the psychology of man upon our hearts and mind is being ripped out to be replaced with the new psychology, the true psychology of Jesus Christ, who is in all and through all things, whether the things of the heaven and the things of the earth. It all belongs to him. Get over it. If you can't accept that your Messiah is ruling as king for eternity already. Subliminal conditioning by false teachers. It has to go. And what we're also perceiving as we establish facts amongst ourselves is that these ministries of condemnation are totally powerless. They only have power over those who are still seeking the knowledge of good and evil. And what happens is, when you come out of seeking knowledge of good and evil, of which it says knowledge will cease, when you stop seeking the knowledge of good and evil to be taught by Christ himself, then you will see all things clearly. The subliminal conditioning by man, by false teachers. It's caused so much damage to hearts and minds. But the God of love, who is love, is a God of reconciliation, because his anger has already been satisfied. And there are those who are coming forward who are telling you that God is still angry. No, he's not angry. He is not angry anymore. His wrath has been satisfied for all time. And the only problem is our psychology, that he is a God of wrath. And those who are proclaiming a God of wrath and judgment, they're projecting themselves onto you, meaning that they themselves are under wrath and judgment of whatever it is they've done in their lives. They haven't been set free from it because they don't understand the finished work of Christ on the cross. And so they keep seeking the knowledge of good and evil. It is this type who are the modern day Pharisees, who cannot stop seeking the knowledge of good and evil. And this is their God. This book is true, but it's just a written testimony about Christ, right from the beginning all the way to the end. It's just a testimony, a historical written testimony about the living King who rules in his kingdom which cannot be seen. It is not of this world, but it can be made, it is made known, it is made manifest, not in the sky coming down in Tucson, Arizona, as someone once said, as he sat there waiting in sackcloth and ashes by candlelight, seeking his knowledge of good and evil. It cannot be seen. It is no part of this world. It is already here, and he rules forevermore. Get over it. If you can't accept your Christ is king already, get over it and start again. Go to the back of the queue and start seeking, knocking and asking again. So I hope that's been a little bit of encouragement for you. If you don't agree with any of that, please tell me what your understanding is on all of those things that we've tried, that I've shared with you today. And that'll be lovely. If you can put me right in anything, that'll be fine. And many blessings to you all, beautiful ones.